Hey friends, Elizabeth here from Plant-Based Bride. Today I'm going to be flipping through my entire used up last bullet journal. So I used this bullet journal, which is the Great Barrier Reef journal from the Earth collection from Dingbats notebooks from October 2018 to the end of April 2019. So I managed to fit 7 months into my bullet journal, which is pretty much average for me. I can usually fit around 7 to 8 months. So without further ado, let's just start flipping through all of the pages and I'll talk a little bit about things as we go. The first page here is the tab key. I didn't end up actually using the tabs in the bullet journal. Honestly, I just kept forgetting that that was a feature. So unfortunately, I didn't remember to use those. My key and my index, and then of course my future log, which is mostly just filled in with birthdays and holidays unless I get an appointment or something far ahead of time. All of these early setup pages you can see in my new bullet journal setup video, which I will link in the description box for you to check out. I didn't quite complete my minimalism game. I got a little bit past a quarter of the way. My life just got really busy and I didn't have the time to continue to declutter regularly, so that's something I want to try to actually complete this year if I can. So starting with my October theme, which was sort of a scrapbook style fall theme. Really loved this. I love how the sleep tracker and moods coffee spread turned out. I think they look really cool. And I really enjoyed incorporating mixed media into my journal and gluing things in. You'll see after I tried it in this October setup, I ended up doing this pretty frequently through the rest of my journal. I also really liked the kind of warm, earthy colors in this setup. Of course, I'll link all of my monthly setups in the description box if you want to watch one in particular. Here's a week that I didn't complete because sometimes life gets busy. Most of that was just written in pencil. Next up is my November setup, which was a comic book pop art theme, a collab with It's Me Andy here on YouTube. This monthly setup was one of the coolest spreads I think I've ever made. I really love how it turned out. I have a faux Dutch door version of my rolling weekly here. I like to do those when I need a bit more room for my dailies. I'll also link my video explaining how rolling weeklies work if you've never seen this style of weekly and you're curious. I've been using this type of weekly for almost 2 years now, I think, at least 1.5 years. It's definitely my favorite. You'll see literally every weekly in this bullet journal is a rolling weekly, either a 2-page rolling weekly or a faux Dutch door 2-spread rolling weekly. A couple incomplete spreads again, and my Thank You Next 2018 in Review 2019 goals spread. I really liked doing that spread. I was very into Ariana Grande's Thank You Next at that point. Moving into December, where I did a pretty minimalist black and gold theme with mistletoe. This was a nice one. I was feeling pretty overwhelmed and stressed at this point in December, so I just wanted something simple. Another faux Dutch door style weekly here. I don't know what's going on with this weekly. It only has a couple days. Sometimes that happens though. That's kind of the fun thing about watching these flip throughs. You get to see what bullet journals really look like when they're being used on a daily basis. And if you're anything like me, they sometimes aren't filled in. Sometimes they're messy. It's just how it is. That was the page I used in my Essential Bullet Journal Supplies video, which I'll link in the description. I love how this spread turned out, the Goodbye 2018, Welcome 2019 spread that I watercolored. I did the Welcome 2019 spread as part of my January plan with me, but the Goodbye 2018 I did on a live stream with my patrons. So this was my letterboard theme for January. I loved how this theme looked, but it was pretty time consuming to cut out the strips of paper and glue them in. So you'll see after the first week that I did in the video, none of the other weeks have the theme running through them. It was just too much time for me, which is too bad because I think it looked really cool. I just was busy in January and didn't have the time to make all my other weeklies fit the theme. So they're just regular old pen and that's it. A blank spread here. I started planning out a spread in pencil but never finished it. My themes of 2018 spread, so some of those obviously were in my last bullet journal, but just a review of all the themes I did in 2018. Moving on to February, which was my love theme, kind of based on Aphrodite and the clouds, Olympus, so lots of pastel clouds. This was a really fun one to do. Those first 2 pages I painted in watercolor and then scanned and printed to put in my bullet journal, and the rest of these I painted directly into my bullet journal. I really liked my giant cloud mood tracker. That was kind of fun. And this was another one that as the month went on and I got busier, I stopped making the weeklies pretty. You can see here I planned on putting the watercolor in, so I didn't write anything in marker or pen, but then I just never got around to it. Another blank spread here. Moving into March, which was my line art women theme. This was another one I really liked. I loved the color scheme, the color palette of the darker brown and the lighter brown and the black and the white. My self-care bingo here, which was really fun. I did get bingo, so congrats to me. And then my Wimixin, I don't know how to pronounce it, page that I made for International Women's Day. I did manage to keep the theme up in all of my weeklies in March, which I was proud of myself for. And the last month that I fit into this journal was April, which was my There's Coffee in That Nebula theme, obviously based on one of my favorite shows of all time, Star Trek, if not my favorite show. Well, series, since there's lots of shows in Star Trek. This one had a lot of watercolor paintings, again, which I really enjoyed making. And this is another one that I managed to keep each weekly in the theme. It helps that I had painted little images for each of the weeks that I wanted to make sure I included. There's actually another painting I made in my BuJo Babble video that I wanted to use as a sort of goodbye April page, but I didn't end up getting around to it. So I have one extra painting that I haven't used yet. Then there's the pen test and the watercolor test pages that I used when I reviewed this Dingbats notebook, which again, linked in the description if you want a review on the notebook. And then the very last thing is my April setup that I did for my video on the Dingbats YouTube channel. They wanted kind of a Easter theme, so I did this watercolor and bunnies theme and painted directly into the notebook. And I'm really happy with how that one turned out. I didn't use it, of course, because I had my own April monthly, but I was really happy with how that turned out. By the way, if you like any of the art or pages in my bullet journal starting from February, if I'm not mistaken, I made printables from February onward for my patrons. And if you sign up to be a patron at the $3 level, you get access retroactively to all of the printables that I've posted on there. So if there's any month that really sticks out to you or a couple things that you like, definitely consider joining the squad. We would love to have you. There are also monthly live streams if you join my Patreon at the $3 level, where you get to see me set up exclusive spreads. So the master to-do list Cheryl quote page from the pop art theme in November was done in a live stream. The Goodbye 2018 page was painted in a live stream, as well as the themes of 2018 spread and the self-care bingo spread. So definitely go check it out. I'm just going to take a minute to thank all of my newest patrons who have joined the squad since our last video. We have Michelle, Megan, Magna, Sid, Kelly, Melissa, and Lily. So welcome all of you to the Plant-Based Bride Patron Squad. We are so excited to have you. I hope you enjoyed seeing this flip through. I always think it's important to show my journals after they've been used because I think there can be a bit of a tendency in our community to idolize perfect journals and to pretty much only see journals before the pen when they've been created and set up and the art's been done, but no one's actually used the spread yet. And that makes them look so perfect and clean, which can make us feel a little bit self-conscious when our own bullet journals don't look like that because, you know, we're using them every day. So I really love watching these videos, and I also like making them just so that you can see what my bullet journal looks like after the Plan With Me video is over and I actually start using it, because they get messy. I skip pages, I make mistakes, I spill coffee and water on my bullet journal, and I forget to use spreads or don't have time to set them up. It happens. So anyway, thank you so much for watching. Please give this video a like if you did enjoy it and subscribe if you haven't already. And with that, I will see you very soon in my next video. Bye, friends. If you're still here and you're looking for something to watch, I highly recommend checking out my May plan with me. I did a Game of Thrones theme, very minimalist, black and white, and used liquid ink and a paintbrush to get some cool splatter effects. So even if you're not a Game of Thrones fan, I think you'll be a fan of this setup, so definitely go check it out. You can also check out my new bullet journal setup video here if you haven't seen that yet.